Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. How's everyone doing? Probably be a little short of live stream this morning. I'm a little under the weather. Uh, Good morning, Dean. Good morning, John. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Patrick, on two channels at once. Good morning, Sterling, putting in the key numbers like Redbook, durable goods, but also putting in some earnings. But most importantly, Cracker Barrel has admitted it could have done a better job after receiving major design backlash from its new logo design. Yeah, you think? Oh, why? Why did they do that? Let's see. I gotta say good morning. Good morning, OD Green. Oh, there you go. AMD will jump another 30%. Oh boy. Hello, Charles. Fed Cook. Boy, I can't talk. Trump fires Cook. Uh, from the allegations of mortgage fraud. Oh, good. We're gonna have more tariffs over digital taxes. Wonderful, fantastic. What else? You got Barkin speaking. Work without immigration, workforce growth is basically zero, which is pretty spot on. Yep. Uh, Fed likely to cut 25 basis points at September meeting. Pretty already baked in with the Fed Watch tool. Good morning, Tony. I'm sorry. Again, having trouble speaking this morning, but let's just get straight to the numbers. Durable goods bouncing month over month, bouncing from prior, but still negative. Core durable goods coming in a little more positive at 1.1 versus 0.2 expected. Prior was 0.3. Sterling already put in some key things for Barkin speaking. Redbook bounce from last time 6.5. Home price index declining month over month. So home prices are starting to roll over. Consumer board, consumer confidence is coming up at 10 Eastern, and regional Richmond Fed, and Dallas Fed Services Index at 10:30. But a very quiet day overall. And then remember, tomorrow is a extremely quiet day besides after the close. Nvidia. Yet AMD up 2.5%. Was there any other news on AMD, Sterling, besides that? Lilly is up also, but overall, besides Nvidia, Magnificent Seven are all down slightly. Telecom services a little holding in there a little stronger this morning. Healthcare again. I'm going to watch to see how this shifts on the open. We've pulled back to some key levels, especially the S&P. Take a look at that. I think we might rotate back out of that into possibly a little more offensive mode instead of defensive mode today. Good morning, Royal Palms. Jeez. Good morning, Ted. Good morning, Anissa. All right. So, what else do we have? Fed Watch, again, 86% for the cut in September. Fear and Greed still in greed mode. Schiller PE, 38.78. So, slight drop, but still hovering at all-time highs. Today in earnings, again, Sterling put some stuff in the chat on YouTube. But we have nothing. I mean, nothing after the close, really. Unless you think Box is going to move the markets. Tomorrow morning we have Kohl's, Williams-Sonoma. Williams-Sonoma is actually going to be very interesting. So we're just glancing over at the other running. Oh, thank you for tuning in on Rumble. We got people showing up on Rumble. AMD stock is rising, and IBM partnership and upgrade are boosting it. The chip maker, thank you for putting that in from Barron's. All right, let's just take key look. As we listed yesterday, I said if it kept dropping, especially if we broke down a little more, was watching the 50% harmonic from Friday's low to high, 64.30 area. We bounced off that pretty much last night. Now, what I'm looking at, that's going to be the key low. If we break down there, then I'm focusing on 64.13 to about 64.16 as the key support. If this does not hold, the end of day low and over really the end of day low from yesterday. But 64.53 is key. We got to break above there. Then I'm still watching this channel, but I'm really focused on if we break above there about 64.67 to really get some more traction. So 64.53 area has to sustain above there, then 64.67, and then just a slow grind higher. So about 64.80 is my next target to the upside. Again, if we drop below this key low from 64.30, 64.31, then I'm focused on this little area down here. Other than that, I mean, everything's backloaded this week. If you look at the daily, we pulled into a rotation zone. So going to see if we can rotate up also. We've already bounced a little. We've already bounced a little from the overnight lows. So we'll see if that can sustain and take us into and through tomorrow with NVIDIA. What else do we have? We have the NASDAQ. NASDAQ coming still above. I'm watching from remember Wednesday's lows, not just last Friday's. If you did go from Friday's lows, it's closer to that 50% harmonic. I'm keeping an eye on, again, with the weakness, was looking for possibly a slightly bigger pullback. Right now, if it does pull back and we take, especially if we break down through about 23,420, then I'm focused on this 23,342 area. We break down below that, then 23,265 is very key. To the upside, 23,500. It's got to sustain above 23,500. I'm watching this descending. We tried to poke above this channel line yesterday, this descending trend line yesterday, and got rejected. Still watching that, but if we break above this 23,500, initial target is about 23,575, and then 23,625 area are the next targets higher. Break above there is 23,734, especially if we do something tomorrow. Again, unless we get some key momentum, I'm still watching for a choppier day today, maybe with that upward bias. Dow pulling back just into the prior breakout zone, rising rotation zone, and the 50% harmonic. And this was from Thursday's low to Friday's high, because that was the lower than Friday's low. So that's what I was watching for. Back to that 50% harmonic. Just looking now for the Dow to start getting above. It's really got some key resistance around this 45,350. It's got to sustain there. Then it actually goes into a clear path. So if that's one of the nicer setups this morning, if it can sustain, and then I'm looking for about 45,500 to 45,512 as a first target area. If we start breaking down below 45,250, I'm then looking closer to 45,100 for the next support area. The Russell coming back to the prior breakout level and rotating up. The Russell and the Dow are actually the nicer things, and the Russell's already breaking out. I was going to say, if we start getting above 23,44, watch for the breakout. We're already getting above there now into the clear path. So this is another interesting one, and my first key level for at least a stop raise would be 23.53. 23.53. If we were to lose 23.37, that area, and that turned into resistance, then I'm focused more on a pullback to 23.18. But so far, this and the Dow are looking very, very nice this morning. The VIX, again, little elevated, a little bounce up today, but nothing much. Still 15 handle. Now, if we start dropping into the 14s, we'll really start focusing on more on rally mode. The DAX, we did break down to below 24,260. As I mentioned yesterday, I was either watching for the breakout or a breakdown. We broke down, coming to the 24,100, which was the area I talked about yesterday, and bouncing off there. Other than that, again, the DAX is super scalpy. That's about it. There's no great trending setups on it right now. So I'm pretty much ignoring it. The yields, again, probably not going to see much until we get the Thursday numbers out. The Thursday, remember, we got GDP and the PCE GDP numbers, and initial continuing jobless claims on Thursday. And Friday, we have the month-over-month PCE numbers. This is when we're really going to see some yield movement. Until that, it's not, the double has not been invalidated, so nothing new since the update yesterday. Crude finally rolling over. Uh, Actually came up a little higher than I thought. It through the rotation zone yesterday to the 50 and another key resistance area, now rolling over. Now I'm going to pay attention on this next pullback for potential buying opportunities again. First, though, it has to break below the 63.40 area, which is now turned into short-term support. Gold, again, nothing to talk about here. We have the percent B buy that I've mentioned following through. Not much to talk about. Has not hit my next key target, 2443, 2444 area. So there's no updates there. And again, this is only a short-term trade, nothing long-term yet. I mean, the long-term is still bullish as it's been. Where do we sit? What else? What else? Just see no new comments in there. Dollar index. Very interesting yesterday. Boy, the dollar just does not want to break down. It still held key support. We bounced strongly, but again, based off the double close below 62.5, I can't get back into my bullish stance until we get above 98.20 and follow through. That's major resistance. And I'm not looking for the next, at least until Thursday, for anything with the dollar. So still breakdown below 97.20, breakout above 98.20. Other than that, those are our support resistance. So nothing to talk about there until we get the Thursday numbers. Euro, big reversal yesterday, coming back down to a very key support area. Slightly higher than what I've drawn here. There's your key support area, about 116. And the major resistance area is 117.20. So that's either the breakdown or breakout play and we'll have to see how that unfolds on Thursday or Friday. By the way, Japanese yen yields still slowly climbing. Still slowly climbing. This is going to get interesting at some point, just not yet. Spiders, yes, the double top's still in potential play. Other than that, little pullback yesterday. Key thing on your spiders is still, if it does pull back more, right about 639.50 to 640 is your little key area on the pullback. Other than that, we do move back up. I'm watching first for the minor gap fill today. That's very minor. 642.28 is where we're looking in the area we're looking to open. 642.47 is for the gap fill. And if it does rally beyond that, or pay attention to yesterday's open as the next target area, 644 area. The Qs, little gap filled on that would be back to 570.32. Yesterday was nearly a virtual doji, so the open and close are so close again, right around 570.30 area. And then the next key is Friday's close. Friday's close is the next key for any rallying target for me. 571.97, so virtually 572. That's still key because that was the big Jackson Hole day, and that's a very key close. Other than that, not much to talk about. Bitcoin triggered on a daily basis, it triggered the major double top pattern. First target being 106.23, 103.48. Would I go heavily short this? No. It's into the rotation zone. That's why it's one of the lower probabilities. But I will be looking at these levels, especially for pullbacks in the short term. The only thing that gets me overly bearish, start breaking down in Bitcoin, is if we start taking out all the targets and get through to 200 again. Hey, Christoph, how you doing? Other than that, Tesla still caught in a big trading range. Not much to talk about there. We'll look at AMD. NVIDIA closing yesterday above the 62.5 again. It's nearly taking out the 182.52, 87.5 level, but that's, again, any target I have. That's very key, not only from the harmonic, but from a major resistance area going into earnings. Let's take a look at that AMD. AMD Still technically has a potential double top, not confirmed or triggered. If this rotates back up again, it will be off the table. But again, it has not triggered or moved up. There are some key gaps still left behind. So if this can sustain anything, it's got to really start getting and sustain above 168. And then the first target on that is 173. And then you have a gap left behind to 176.14. Hey, David, no problem. Thanks for tuning in. Other than that, not much to talk about. Definitely not much to talk about. Could be another quiet day unless we really start getting some VIX dropping below 15. Okay, remember, things start with tomorrow afternoon with NVIDIA earnings for this week. So I'm not going to be overly aggressive with anything. I'm just going to pretty much, if they're great setups, fine. Other than that, sit on hands and get through into the later half of the week. Is there a daily, weekly potential double bottom on the 2 years? Is there a daily, weekly potential double bottom on ZT1? Daily, weekly. What am I missing, Sterling? What am I missing? We had a double top, you mean? Potential double bottom? I'm not, unless I'm really missing something, I'm not seeing anything unless I have the wrong symbol up. But you had the 2-year notes in there. ZT1. So could you clarify? Because I don't see the other double already played out, and then there's nothing new. There is nothing new here. For me, in this, it's either the breakout or the breakdown play. So I'll see if you can clarify that. Other than that, it's just in this trading range, and there isn't much. This was would turn into a channeling double top. That was it. So I'm not seeing, and maybe you can text me later and show me what you are seeing. All right, with that, I got to wrap it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow, though. So everyone have a wonderful trading day. I would not force anything unless we start getting some momentum. I really wouldn't, being everything backloaded this week. Oh, you got the back adjusted on? I hate when those bars move around. There we go. You got the back adjusted. Let me see at the weekly. I'm still back adjusted. Is this you mean this pattern? No, that's not a double. Don't bother with that. Do not bother with that, Sterling. I see what you're looking at now. He's looking at this pattern. This potentially being a double. No, you got this. This is not a valid double. It's way too messed up. Way too messed up there. Do not trade that as a double. What I'd just be looking at is it's a break. It's literally a breakout above 104 right now is where it's looking to go. That's been very key resistance. 104 level's been very key resistance right there. But you're slamming into it. It's a quick little breakout play because it's really got to sustain above 104.15 to really get its traction going. You're welcome, Sterling. All right, I'm wrapping it up for now. Let's just peek back at the S&P. Let's just peek back at there. Again, the same. Nothing's changed with the same level. It's got to start getting above 46.54, 46.53, 46.54 before I'm interested in the long side at all. With that, I'll talk to everyone later. Bye for now.